Hi there, this is Matt from Coursensu, and I want to just do a quick video walkthrough of the course companion. Effectively, it's like a learning design assistant that lives inside Moodle. So there's three areas that it exists, and it all sort of comes to life when you have editing enabled. So it's available for educators, course editors, administrators, teachers, anyone with that editing permission. It appears inline, so it appears when you turn editing on, you've got course level review tools. There's a feedback simulator, there's an outcome alignment, constructive alignment checker, and an overall content checker that can sort of walk you through whether you've got accessibility issues or missing or gaps or sort of missing elements that are clearly coming through. And I'll show a couple of those. At the item level, each item, like a forum or a page or a book or a quiz, can have specific line item advice generated for that. And you can store that advice and you can refer back to that advice. So it sort of runs through and gives you a high level summary of things that you should be considering or changing. And if you want to, you can deep dive into how to make those changes. And at the bottom of each section, there's a sort of using AI to suggest the next activity, or drawing from your existing Coursensu templates, you can pull in an activity like a series of pages or a quiz or something. So I'll just do a quick run through of some of the sort of headline features. The first one is at the sort of course-wide level, you can use it to simulate feedback. So what's happening here is I pick a role. So for example, here I've got my own custom personas, or there are some built-in personas, and these have a set of instructions. For example, the higher education student, which I'll choose, says, you're studying this course, it's really important for you to do well, and you need to consider this sort of framework of how this course is going to align to your expectations of this course. And it's things like the type of technologies it's asking you to use, the construction of the content and the language of the content, whether it feels inclusive and equitable in how it's approaching you. And you're sort of sitting on a staff student committee. It's sort of positioning of that persona is to say you're speaking on behalf of your fellow classmates. So share back with the educators what you think. So this is generating a report now, and it's sort of structured in an overall impressions. And then it talks through some of those sections I just mentioned. So the digital experience, the timing and duration, the balance of learning formats. There's 10 different areas in this report and a conclusion. And for any of these reports that it generates, so that's AI generated based on all of the content of the course. So it's reading on the back end the structure of the course, and you can send that via email if you want to sort of get it out of the system, or you can save it, and then it will appear in a saved list of suggestions and feedback that you've received. So that's one example. Another one, which is quite neat, is the outcome alignment checker. And if you're using the built-in competency framework, that's one way to set this up. Another is you just put in maybe the course level outcomes, and you can just add them very easily. And the AI runs through all of the content and activities, and it gives you a sort of visual strength indicator. So it determines whether 5, which is really good, that outcome looks really well aligned to the course content and the activities, or lower, down to 1, whether it feels that there's no content or activities that are supporting the development or the demonstration of that learning outcome. So for example, here we've got a bit of a red herring outcome. There's reference to this 1, 2, 3, go framework. It's about management. It's a management framework. It's not in this course at all. So it's an outcome that should be expected, but it's intentionally created to show a low score because there's nothing that's been added to this course that would help a learner demonstrate or even learn anything about the 1, 2, 3, go framework. Much like the simulation of feedback, you can click on that too. And then once you've selected it, you get a sort of individual report generated very quickly on how you can make changes that would help improve alignment with that learning outcome. And that's the theme here, is generating reports that the educator or course editor can use to help give them a sort of an opinion, a perspective from a learning design angle of how they could improve this learning experience to align to that outcome or that issue that has been identified. And again, it's about a 500-word report, and you can save it or send it. It's very similar for the content checker, and actually also for the individual items. So I showed earlier, an individual item can also have a just dig into this item within the context that the item lives, and you can generate advice as well. So it's formatted a bit funny here, but the advice is to say, consider the introduction, consider the fact that you've got missing images or the images have missing alt text, and it will give the sort of suggestions of how to improve that particular activity or that piece of content. The goal, of course, with any of these is that you want to be able to pick up on issues and potentially areas that might challenge a student before you put it in front of them. So you might use this at a time when you're developing the content or you're preparing it for a refresh, and you want someone to just sort of give you an opinion, a different opinion than your own, because you might be stuck in a way, and you just want to stand away from your perspective and see what's good and what's potentially needing further development in this Moodle course. Lastly, you can suggest or import like sort of further activities or resources. So if I go to this section and I ask it to generate a suggestion of what to come next, it processes it in the companion block, and it's suggesting that a forum could be quite a useful activity next. And it includes the title of the forum and a sort of introduction to the forum. It doesn't put any posts in at this stage. But if you want to, you can click Add to My Course, and that forum will now be added in line just underneath this Management Resources section. I have to refresh the page to be able to see that forum. But now we've got it, and it's added it as hidden. So it's still within the educator or the course editor's domain to configure it, check it. If we just open it up now, we can see what it looks like. So it's copied that content in, and it's set up the sort of objectives of that forum completely for further editing and further configuration. So that's a quick run through of how this tool works, and really the sort of summary takeaways of why it's there is it's like a learning designer that can sit with any educator, understand their course, and provide guidance, suggestions, and advice ad hoc. So on demand, whenever the educator or course editor wants it, it will give you contextual, relevant, and actionable next steps. And if you're happy for it to do so, it can also take those next steps and immediately start to apply them. So make the changes on your behalf, add a new activity or resource based on what it has suggested, and then passing it back over to you and saying, this is up to you. You can take this, further develop it, refine it, whatever you want. It's in a fairly mature state. It's been worked on for quite a few months now. It's available, but it's available with Coursensu, and Coursensu is a standalone learning design platform. So on its own, this block would work, but it does require access to Coursensu for the AI integration. So that's the current sort of setup. But again, I'm sharing it because I'm really keen to hear what people think, whether they think this is going down the right avenue or the wrong avenue, where it's helpful, where it's completely useless. Whatever your perspectives are, the point of sharing it is to hear those perspectives, to listen and to understand the sort of initial reaction of how people think and feel about this. So thanks for watching, and I really look forward to hearing from you. So you can find me, I've posted this on YouTube. I've also posted it on Moodle.org, so feel free to share with me wherever you find it, a comment, a reflection, a critique, whatever you've got. Thanks, bye.